everybody. Welcome to part 2 of your training for Frassati Fest this year. We are just so excited to see you in just a few weeks. In case we've never met, my name is Lindsay Finn, and I am the coordinator of youth formation in the Diocese of Madison, and we are just so excited to have you in a couple weeks. So, apologies first. This is not going to be as exciting of a video as Megan and Shane's just was, or Sarah's will be. I'm not on a frozen lake or at Target. I'm in my office. But I am excited to talk with you about investing in your teens, and especially during parish time throughout the weekend. So to begin, I'd like to do a little bit of math for you. Assuming you come at 5 p.m. to Frassati Fest, which is on the early side of registration, so if you got there right away, that would be awesome. Or if not, by 5 o'clock, you're probably going to be on the road with your teens and making the journey to the Kalahari. Assuming that 5 o'clock start time, and then taking all the way through Sunday, we wrap up just after noon, and you're on the road, assuming you get home sometime around 2 p.m. With that math in mind, I believe I come up with there are 45 hours in the weekend of Frassati Fest, between Friday night at 5 p.m. and Sunday at 2 p.m. Now, you may have looked at the schedule in your last session and thought, there's not a ton of time for sleeping. That is true. I'm going to say if you do it really well and you're on top of it with your kids, you're going to get about 7 hours of sleep each night. So if we take out our sleeping time out of that, 45 hours, we have come down to 31 hours of time with our teens. And now, 31 hours is not a great amount. It's just over a day. So this is my first piece of advice, and that is take those 31 hours and really make them count. I think it's a beautiful thing that so many of you have got great groups of teens that are joining you for Frassati Fest, and I would encourage you to make the most of that time. A couple things on that are to that end. First, we have a little expression we like to remind all of our adults of when it comes to youth events in the Diocese of Madison, and that is that we are prompt people, and prompt people often know what time it is and stick to schedules, and to help with that they wear wristwatches. I don't have a watch on, so that is a little perhaps a bad example. Wait. Okay, if I put on like my temporary tattoo watch, then I would have a wristwatch of some kind on. Okay, so given that we're going to be prompt people and we're going to be really on top of our game and our schedule for the weekend, we wear a wristwatch, and that can actually do more than just tell time. It can remind us of a very helpful phrase that helps us be the best we can be when it comes to working with teens, and that is that our wristwatch can remind us that it's always better to be with than watching. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is it is best to be in the mix of everything with your teens. We do not expect chaperones to be bystanders at Frassati Fest. We expect them to be in the midst of the action. That's not to say we shouldn't encourage teens to form relationships with other peers throughout the diocese, make new friends, things like that, but we should never be apart from them. A few examples. When it comes to picking seats in a general session, don't make all your teens file in first and then sit on the edge where you're not going to be able to be interacting with them. Instead, jump on in and put yourself in the middle of the row, or have them save you a seat when the time comes. Same thing when it comes to parish time in the evening, or the like. Just make sure that you are in the midst of them. You might not be up for water sliding, but be in the water park. Tell your teens we're going to be hanging out and have them come by and see you or say hi as they walk by. You can do all sorts of things to make sure that you're with them, not just watching them, because we want our chaperones to be a lot more than people who kind of stand at the side and make sure kids are safe. We do a lot more than that. And that leads me to the next thought about how we can make these 31 hours really count. And that is invest in your teens. I think it's a great thing that so many of you as parish youth ministers or volunteers or parents, whatever you may be, are coming along and experiencing this great weekend with your teens. With that, take advantage of this time. Build relationships with your teens. Invest in their lives. Ask them questions. Let them know you. Just form great relationships with them. Now, in the midst of these 31 hours, you have 2 hours that I would like to talk specifically about, and those would be the hours of parish time, which, as Megan reviewed in the schedule with you, or Shane, these are happening on Friday night after the conclusion of the general session, and then you'll have parish time on Saturday night, either immediately following adoration, excuse me, or following the party that night, or probably some combination of both. With parish time, make it fun and meaningful. I have 3 different things that should be kind of crucial elements of parish time. The first is to set up a great environment. So make sure you're planning on having a lot of fun with your kids and also feeding them. Plan to have snacks or treats or some kind of food ready, especially on Friday night, and most especially if you do not stop with your teens for dinner on the way. They're probably going to be pretty hungry by the time parish time comes. Make sure that you have provided for those lower order needs so that they can really focus during parish time. The second component of parish time should be some kind of sharing about their days. You can do this by sharing happies and crappies, rosebuds and thorns, or whatever else you would like to do to hear a little bit about some highlights of their days and maybe something that they are looking forward to the next day. And then the last question, and this one's the most important of parish time, is to ask them questions along these lines. And with this, it might be a good idea to have them share in groups of 2 or 3 first before sharing with the entire group so they can kind of jog their memory and talk about their day. But ask them questions like, where did you experience the Lord today? Or where did you encounter him? Or ask them questions like, who inspired you today, or what talk inspired you, to really try to get out some of the content of the weekend. This weekend promises to be a great experience of evangelization, encountering Jesus Christ, and deepening our love for our Catholic faith. And processing it is a huge part to making it more than just 31 hours on a fun weekend, but really something that transforms lives. So, next thing about making the most of our 31 hours. And Sarah will talk about this a little bit in the next video, so I'm not going to steal her thunder, but I would like for you to prepare for Saturday night some kind of an invitation. And by that I mean, Frassati Fest is not the end of things. We want to take this and use it as kind of a jumping off point into whatever is next in the life of our parish. And Sarah will talk with you more about how to structure some follow-up and hopefully have an experience ready for teens to just engage with to continue to develop their lives as Catholic young people. And then my last tip for making the most of these 31 hours is you still have time come Sunday morning. You'll have 5, 6, 7 waking hours with the kids on Sunday. And I know that the weekend is exhausting. Trust me. Most of us probably won't be awake for the Super Bowl later that night. But don't let your Sunday energy down. With that, I know it's tough between breakfast and packing up and thinking about traveling home and everything that entails. That's a lot to keep on our minds, but let's not forget that the highlight of the weekend is yet to come. We get to receive the Lord in Holy Eucharist at the Mass, and that is the most ultimate experience of grace throughout the weekend. So to make sure that we keep our energy up and even hopefully talk about how excited we are for the experience of the Mass as kind of the high point of the weekend with our teens. So don't miss out on that great experience of looking forward to the Mass, but also just having more time to engage with and interact with your teens. Make the most of these 31 hours. We can't wait to see you. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, everybody.